Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan Cast recap show. We back at it. Max, how you doing tonight, my brother?
I'm doing better than you, I would imagine. I'm doing a lot better than you. You know what I mean?
Look, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I'm all right. I talked myself through it. You know what I mean? I blame everybody but the Raiders. You
Okay.
know, that's like kind of the thing that Raider fans kind of do. But I'm good. It's week 1, bro. It's only one game. I'm used to the Raiders starting off to a good start. So I had to get pushed back into reality sometimes, you know? We can't always start off the season 4-0, you know.
I know, but you guys lose a home game, and it's just not a good look
We
for you
did
guys.
lose a home game, you know. But we're gonna get into it, bro. Welcome to the show, guys. If you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You guys have been killing it with that. Almost at 500. Get us to 500 subscribers, bro. That's all we ask for. And if you guys are already subscribed, we appreciate you guys being a subscriber and welcome to the family. And go ahead and hit that like button. Like, it's simple, it's easy, it's quick to do, and it helps us out a lot, man.
We don't
We
got
really appreciate it.
subscribers. We got family. Shout out to Dom Toretto.
Exactly, man. But there's so many things to pick from, Max. How did you feel waking up today? Did it feel like Christmas?
I woke up about 8:30, and I was like, damn. I was like kind of hoping I wake up around 9:30, so you get done with like your morning routine, and then right at 10 o'clock it starts. And I
Yeah.
mean, I was glued to the TV right at 10. My dad had Red Zone on the big TV. I had Eagles game on my laptop, had the Niners game because I had to talk shit to Joey because hashtag Trey area. But I called Joey and we talked to him. I bullshit with him. I heard from our good friend Dak, who got his wish. We'll talk about that later. We can jump right into it. I don't care. That might be a good
Yeah.
segue coming off
I think that's a perfect segue. Look, the last time we obviously seen the audience, Thursday night hasn't even played. So we can go over Thursday night if you want to also, but
I would
I
like
think
to
that's
at some point, just because I
yeah,
went
at some
there.
point.
And
We're gonna wing
fuck
this thing.
SoFi, by the way. No
Yeah, because
AC.
you went to the game.
Got a
I
flat
completely
fucking
forgot.
tire. I might send you some clips. I saw LeBron was right behind us. Adele was
Yeah.
there.
No way.
She looked horrible.
You say hi to Bron?
Nah, Draymond was there. I almost wanted to say hi to Draymond, but I was like, I ain't trying to blow.
Was Russ there?
No, hold on one
Pat
second.
Bev?
Hold on.
No.
What?
As Max had technical difficulties, but
Yeah,
was
it's
Pat
called mom.
was
Called mom.
Pat
Leave me
Bev
alone.
there?
No, he wasn't there. It was Draymond. It was Jay-Z was right behind us too. I mean, we're sitting like in the end zone, so like where Gabe Davis caught the first touchdown, I'm in the opposite corner.
Okay.
Dude, it was so fucking hot. Like I can't stress it enough.
It was
They're like
hot today.
they open the windows and there's a natural breeze. There's no fucking breeze. There's no breeze. Bills Mafia was out and about. And dope. Josh Allen, dog, watch the video. Check out our video we made about him. I yelled to Josh Allen, and there was Rams fans all over, and I was like, "Fuck him!" I mean, we outnumber these fools like 5-1 us Buffalo people. But there's nothing quite like going to opening day. It was cool to see the banner go up. Drove home on a 0 PSI tire. Shout out to my run flats.
Gangster.
Yeah, it sucked. But it was eventful. It was crazy. It was horrible navigating the stadium one. If you go, it's to take you an hour to leave because they shut down a bunch of streets.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Wow. That sucks, man. Welcome to LA traffic, I guess. That I can only imagine how hot it was today, like in the stadium in SoFi. Like, because it was hot today, but who's not doing so hot, man?
Oof.
Dallas Cowboys. Let's go ahead and start there. We just got done watching the Sunday night football game. The Dallas Cowboys get beat in their home opener 19-3 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So many things to go off of this game, but let's go ahead and go over some notable stats that happened in this game. Brady, 18 for 27, 212, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Quiet night for him. Mike Evans, 5 catches for 71 yards, 1 touchdown. And on the Dallas side, man, there wasn't much positive to go out of. Dak had a horrible night, 14 for 29, 134 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. We're trying to think of whoever had a highlight game. Mike Parsons, Micah, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 5 tackles, not much out there, but the one of the main storylines out of this game, Max, is Dak Prescott needs surgery on his thumb, correct?
Thumb, 4 to 6 weeks they're saying, and then they say indefinitely. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if this is the excuse you need to get rid of Mike McCarthy, and I feel like watching this game, we just saw the same undisciplined Cowboys team we saw at the end, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so our boy Dak was like he's a Cowboy fan, but he hates them because he hates all the BS that goes around him. Like, who's the kick returner, the MVP of the USFL? Yeah, that guy didn't
Tur-
save your guys' season like you guys thought he
Yeah.
was. Cowboy fans, he sucks. He sucks.
Yeah.
Week, I know it's one
And
week. I know, but it's always
yeah.
the circus with them.
Let's
Zeke Elliott looks like a clown with his futuristic face mask helmet.
let's
It's
go ahead and get that out of the way, Max. In the beginning of the show, we all know all the opinions we're gonna have and all the analysis we're gonna have. It's all overreaction. It's week one. We understand that. But if we just took it as that as week one, there wouldn't be much to talk about.
yeah.
So you can only go off of what we've seen today. Obviously, we said it in a pick'em. Don't take much into week one. But with something like this happens with Dak Prescott and you lose your quarterback, it's big news. It's not an overreaction. And I even think when he was out there, the offensive line was a problem. Who they lost bodies even more today. It's bad. Look, they had their offensive weapons are terrible. Besides Tony Pollard, who every time when he touches the ball, he goes for more yards than Zeke. We've been saying it for 2.5 years now, Max, that Tony Pollard
And I,
should be
I
the
know
starting
people are
running
going to
back.
be like, well, Tony only had 6 carries for 8 yards. Well, every time he had a good carry, there was like a hold. It was just like something that had no impact on the play. Zeke looks slow out there. It's just the eye test. When Tony P's back there, it's about the juice. Like Zeke still
Yeah,
has a role in this league. He can be a decent back, but for $20 million, it's not worth it. And here's what kills me: one, they cut Leo Collins.
yeah,
They basically dumped Amari Cooper. Why? Just why
yeah,
did you do it? Like, what did you gain out of it? You saved some money.
yeah.
So, like,
It's
I
not
would have
looking
rather
good.
had those guys. Look how thin they are. They're
So
just thin everywhere. They're thin across the board.
so he's out for 4 to 6 weeks, right? So six.
Tha that's what they say, but then they say indefinitely. So,
So look, I'm gonna call it. He's out until at least week 10 because they have a bye week in week 9. And I'm just gonna go over some of their opponents that they have coming up.
okay.
Next game, Cincinnati at home. Cincinnati just got off of a brutal loss. That's gonna be a tough game. New York Giants on Monday Night Football. Giants look kind of good today.
Someone
They
picked
don't
them.
look like they don't look like a slapdick team. Washington, they look pretty good today. They
Yeah.
look better than we expected. Week one, we know. Then they got the Rams in LA. They got Philly in Philly. They got Detroit. Then they got Chicago. Then it's the bye week. And even when Dak Prescott comes back, they got to play Green Bay, Minnesota, Philly again, Tennessee, Washington. Like, to me, it's looking like Dallas season is over, dude.
I
Like, I don't see Cooper Rush winning more than 2 games.
Is this Jimmy G territory? Is it just, "Hey, let's get Jimmy G and get him in here and just have
That's a
him?"
great point.
But
That's a great point.
and, I don't really wanna segue to the game yet, but maybe San Francisco's looking at the game they just had and they're like, let's pump the brakes on this Jimmy G thing."
That would be really interesting. The Jimmy G card, the Jimmy G element to this is it has to be the perfect trade package. Everything has to be perfect because Jimmy G has a no trade clause. So he has to waive them. It's not like the Niners can get just the deal that they want. It's what Jimmy wants. So if I'm Dallas, is it worth it?
I don't think he saves this team. I don't think this team's good enough where
I
it
don't
can
think so either.
it's not like I would say last year's team would survive better if you got Jimmy G than this team because this team's the offense. What do they do well, Juan? Like, what's the CD Lamb's a
It's
good
CD Lamb or
player.
bust.
Yeah, CD Lamb's good, but their passing offense isn't that creative. Their head coach is kind of a nightmare. They don't block that well. They don't pass protect well. They did these 2 stupid trick plays in the beginning of the game that netted them like negative 15 yards. Why? My question is why? And like, I know Dallas fans have this reputation, and we're like, we always want to win the Super Bowl, but like, dude, this roster is not good enough. The defense kind of didn't look that good for stretches, especially when it comes to pass coverage. And I know last year they had this historic, renaissance of a defense. Is it going to be historic again? You think it's going to go even better? Yeah, Micah's a dog. Who else is there really to write home about? Trayvon Diggs? He didn't look all that great. Anthony Brown?
When you're banking on a subpar like draft pick that they had, what's his name? Jalen Tolbert, I think.
Yeah, he didn't even
He's
suit up. He was hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, like when that guy's supposed to be like your second receiver, like, and you're depending on guys like Noah Brown, like it's not a recipe like to win. And they're hurting right now at the receiver position and just playmakers in general. And the one playmaker that they do have besides CD Lamb, it's Tony Pollard, and he doesn't get the ball enough. And like all this bullshit about how, oh, it's because they don't trust them in pass protection. Like they can't trust them. Zeke is one of the best pass protectors that we have on third down. Okay, that's fine. Keep them on third down. That's fine. Let Zeke run the third down back. But why? Why they can't do that, Max? Because they're paying this guy a bunch of money and
They're
they
worried
can't leave.
about fan backlash. Fuck
Exactly.
him. Like,
Right. Play
Zeke's a
the
good.
best player.
At some point, you're going to have to, because Zeke ain't going. Tony Pollard has the potential to break one off and get you points. You sometimes need that. We talked about that with the Chiefs about how losing Tyreek Hill, you lose that. And that can
Yeah.
be valuable in a big game against the Bills, where he literally scared them into getting you that field goal to tie the game at the end of regulation.
Yeah.
You have Noah Brown, and poor Chris Collinsworth with his messed up voice has to go out there and call his trash. Out here, Mike. I forgot it's Mike Tirico. It's not Al Michaels anymore, but just poor Chris Collinsworth. Cowboys
Yeah.
just not a showing you want to see, and I think the season's pretty much done. I know it's week 1, but with an injury to a team's quarterback, and they're already pretty thin, it's kind of
They're
writing's
done.
on the wall.
I'm calling them done. I don't see it for them.
Stick a fork in them because they are fucking done.
Exactly, dude. Let's go ahead and move on. You brought up Jimmy G. I think it's a game worthy of talking about. The Niners today lose one in Soldier Field in a monsoon. If you guys didn't watch this game, it was fucking ridiculous. Soldier Field, Chicago Bears, get a new field. What the fuck are you guys thinking? That was unplayable fucking conditions, dude. But the Bears come out with the win, 19-10. Some of the stats to recap: Trey Lance and his first start this year, 13 for 28, 163 yards, 0 touchdowns, and a bad interception that got caught by Eddie Jackson. Shout out to my boy Eddie J. Justin Fields, 8 for 17, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Pettis the Metis, aka Dante Pettis, in his revenge game had his 1 reception for 51 yards that went for a tub. Crazy fucking play. Deebo Samuel had 8 carries for 52 yards and 1 touchdown for his best impersonation of Deebo last year, but it wasn't enough, man. Let's start off with Jimmy G and the whole Trey Lance situation. This was a game they were supposed to win. And surprisingly, the thing that shocks me, Max, is that the conditions were bad, obviously. Like it was unbearable at times. But to me, the Niners are kind of a team that likes to play in that element. Like you remember when they went to Green Bay and
In
they're
the
like,
snow.
like the Niners love this kind of shit. Like it benefited them more than the Packers people were
So
saying.
if you're a Niners fan, you're going to talk yourself into, we had to play in a monsoon.
Right.
Well, so did the Bears. The Bears. The Bears, the lesser
With the
team.
second year quarterback.
With the second, well, same thing. Trey Lance. It was kind of a game of like what you could have had versus what you took, and I don't know how you walk away from that game and just don't say, "Fuck, we should have taken Justin Fields." And we were talking to Joey about it, and I'm going to call him out, and he goes, "Oh, Justin Fields didn't make more plays than Trey Lance." On what fucking planet? Justin Fields made the biggest play of the game where he evaded rushes. He got he threw it to Pettis for 51 yards. Yeah, it's a busted coverage, but he was about to get sacked by Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
Justin
This is
Fields
a
hung
game.
in there. It was a tough fucking game, and don't get it twisted. Soldier Field sucks, but that weather in any field, it's horrible. It's unplayable. That's why you should have a fucking
And
dome.
the other, like you said, the other team has to play it too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is a game that I definitely want to rewatch. I want to rewatch every single Trey Lance throw because it was in the morning window, and you know how it is morning window, so many games going on. But what I seen from Trey Lance with the plays that I did see, I saw the wonky release still. I thought it was too long and just poor decisions, like stuff that the gimmies that you're supposed to take, that's what kills them. And it's like, yeah, Jimmy G doesn't give you the big play abilities that Trey Lance brings, but like missing Brandon Ayuk on some plays or missing Kyle Juszczyk at times,
Yeah,
like those
and it
are
was
plays you
all
need to make.
just gunning the fucking ball 100 miles per hour, it felt
Yeah,
like, and he lost control of the football, and of course, he's in a monsoon, so you have to kinda consider that. I feel like Justin
right.
Fields had better control of the ball in just as bad of conditions.
Yeah,
First of all, 28 throws in that type of weather, you're kinda scratching your head, but I guess they kinda needed it. And
yeah,
they were in control of this game at halftime. Bears were
yeah.
blinked. They
Mhm.
came out in the second half, put some shit together, and that interception was him staring down a receiver. He never got off his read. Eddie Jackson's
Yeah,
like taking candy from a baby. And I think that
yeah.
interception really was the turning point of the game.
And look, it sounds like we're going hard on him, and we are. And you know why? Niner fans out there and NFL fans who love Trey Lance, he's expected to win. He needs to be at a certain level right now. This is the argument all off season. The window to win is now. He needs to grow up fast. He can't be fucking a little toddler right now and be spoon fed. He needs to grow up quick. So these decisions that he's making early on, it's alarming. And this whole Jimmy G fucking situation, like that's just lurking in the background.
I just want to add two things. He took a lot of hits today, a lot of hits, big hits, didn't get down a lot. And two, on Football Night in America, Jason Garrett put it out there. And this is going to be everybody that said, I just don't see how you give this guy the job when, Kyle Shanahan's 9-27 with all of their quarterbacks, not named Jimmy Garoppolo. They
That's
already are
facts.
putting out the fucking narrative. I don't
Yeah,
necessarily agree with the narrative.
exactly.
I don't agree with it, but I'm saying
Yeah,
that narrative's out there. And if
yeah,
the fans start picking it up, they call for boos. It splits the fucking locker room. It's a
yeah,
problem.
yeah. If you're a Niner fan, you're hoping on three things right now. Number one, it was the weather. Number two, it's week one. Number three, no George Kittle. A lot
Yeah.
of things going against you. So you can make all the
It's
excuses you
still the
want.
Bears, though. It's still a
Yeah,
bad football team who couldn't block for huge chunks of the day where Justin Fields was navigating the pocket. I thought Justin Fields played really good in a
yeah,
monsoon. Talk about no weapons around him. Like, that's the difference between this second-year quarterback and Justin Fields. Who's really around him? Nobody. Is the O-line good? No. Look at Trey Lance's support group. Decent running backs, good O-line, good weapons.
yeah,
That's the difference. And one of them got the job done.
yeah. Exactly. And I want to next game that I want to talk about is I kind of want to tie them in together, and there's one little difference in it, but I want to I want to go to the Raider game right now.
Oh, my
So
God.
so the Raider game, uh Chargers get out with a win, 24-19. This game was not supposed to be that close, in my opinion. Some of the storylines from this game, stats wise: Carr, 22 for 37, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, a whopping 3 interceptions that were pretty bad.
Yeesh.
Hoybut, Justin Herbie, J Herbo, 26 for 34, 279, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Great game by him. Devontae Adams in his Raider debut, 10 catches for 141 yards and a touchdown. And as course of fucking Max, when you give Max the ability to handle the fucking graphics, this is what happens. Khalil Mack, 3 sacks, with one game sealing one.
Hey,
And
read the whole slide. Read what's in parentheses. Come on.
I think that's better for you, Max. What does
3
that
sacks.
say? I hate you. Look, the
Hey, dog.
3 take
52 looked good.
yeah, look,
Looks sexy.
let's go ahead and start off there. Khalil Mack, he's a future Hall of Famer. He showed why he was a future Hall of Famer before he put on a Chargers uniform. If you guys don't know, and if you guys are not a resident, of our podcast for a long time, Khalil Mack was, if not my favorite player, one of my favorite players on the Raiders. And when he got traded, it fucking broke my heart. And the fact that he's on the Chargers and he's fucking dominating now again, it fucking pains me.
You
but
don't even tell the
he
story
was
right, but whatever.
Yeah, I know. It's a long story. I don't want to fucking
No,
ramble.
keep going. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
But he was the closer today. And it's a big reason why they got him for a second round pick. He did his job. And it's not even that he beat our right tackle. He beat Colton Miller, who's a pretty damn good left tackle. And he showed why he's a future Hall of Famer, like I said. Now, going on the Carr side, 3 interceptions. He played horrible, played terrible. He was definitely a factor on why we lost. Typically with Raider games, everyone seems to blame Carr, Max. You know this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
but
game.
this game, this game was warranted. This game was warranted. I test stats wise, it was a really bad day for Carr. He really hasn't had a bad game like that in a while, in my opinion. But it was bad. What did you think?
I think one of the picks to Drew Tranquil, you just gotta, shake the guy's hand like you made an amazing play. The 2 to Asante Samuel, he underthrew the deep ball, and the other one I was like, "What are you looking at, dude?"
Yeah.
What
First drive
are
of the
you looking
game.
at?
First drive of the game, we're driving. We're down 3-0, and we get all the way to the red zone, and he has Darren Waller on a drag route on the left side of the end zone and threw it behind him straight up. And yeah, Waller got his hands on it. Maybe he could have caught it. You could argue that you're the highest paid tight end, but it was a bad throw. And those are the inconsistencies that are the difference from winning the division and not winning the division. Those are the throws right there that separate you from top 3 and top 10.
Oh, I just think that just shows kind of week 1. Waller's been banged up. He hasn't been practicing that much. I think that's just a timing thing. I think they get that cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
But
you can argue with the Devontae Adams one too, underthrowing him. Yeah. I was shocked with that one. It's like, you're talking about all this college stuff and being on the same page, like overthrow him, bro. Like act like he's Ruggs right there. I feel like you got to lay it out.
Yeah, I think Devontae had a chance if that ball's thrown correctly to definitely catch it. I'd say more than likely, more than not, he's going to catch that ball. So I thought the Chargers, and I do have one problem with them. They should have blown you guys out the door. They should have blown the doors off this place.
Yes.
Herbert in control was a maestro. Yeah, you guys held him under 300 yards, but for a large chunk of the game, he kind of did whatever. It was people around him.
He was delivering a laser.
Yeah. Eckler, he was doing his little thing in the receiving game, had some good little rushes. I thought your run defense was solid.
But fucking Jalen Carter coming out of nowhere with Keenan Allen getting hurt, fucking looking like the second coming of Keenan Allen.
That's a big loss for them. I mean, Mike Williams, it said he says he only has 2 for catches for 10 yards, but I felt like he had a little bit more of an impact in the game. But he did it. You know what I mean? It was just a weird game for them. It didn't slow Herbert down though. He was like, I'll just take care of this. And if you're a Charger fan, you're happy. You're like, we don't even have J.C. Jackson. He's going to slow down Devontae Adams. Yeah. Newsflash, you're not slowing people like him down. He's going to get his pretty much regardless. You're going to have to pitch a hell of a game. But the Chargers should have put this game away. And I mean, I was proud of their run defense as like the Charger fan on the podcast. They had a good showing. But you guys aren't a team like the Eagles who can just run the ball at will down people's throats.
Yeah.
But I think this is a big win for them. It's kind of a big
definitely
for the Raiders. But if you're a Raider fan, I'll say this, and I'll let you finish it up. You should be proud that your team didn't get blown out with as bad as they played. Kind of like the Bengals. in that
It could have
sense.
easily the reason why I was tying in 2 games is because it could have easily looked like the Rams on Thursday night.
Mhm.
Easily. That's the difference. The Rams had 3 fucking turnovers that they had, and the Bills still blew them out. You know what I mean? Like, that was an ugly game. The Raiders, on the other hand, they had 3 turnovers and they were still in the game. And part of it was, yeah, the Raiders were staying in it with their defense at times, but honestly, it was self-inflicted by the Chargers. There was a lot of plays, not necessarily Herbert. Probably Herbert was like the only one that was super consistent, but there was a drop by Gerald Everett that could have had a first down. There was a missed field goal by Dustin Hopkins that could have put it away. There was a 4th down call that Brandon Staley did his old fucking, oh, look at me, I'm going for it on 4th down. And Max Crosby did the Troy Polamalu Superman and tackled Justin Herbert for the QB sneak. It's decisions like that, which, being a non-biased Charger hater or Raider fan, that's what scares me off of the Chargers going forward. Yes, you guys won the game, but the Raiders, obviously, right now, as of week 1, are not on an elite team level. Try that shit against the Bills. They're going to make you pay. Try that shit against the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to make you pay. So that's what scares me about them. Congratulations. You're 1-0. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. That's never the question about the Chargers, though, Max. What is it? It's always special
Special
teams and coaching.
teams and just not shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
I mean, I
And
thought their pass protection was pretty solid for most of the day. I know
great.
Max Crosby got back there a couple times and kind of moved Herbert off a spot, but they didn't give up a sack, which is nice. It's not always about sacks. He was under pressure a little bit, but better protection than Carr.
Most definitely.
And the
The Raiders
Chargers
switched
have a lot to
out.
do.
The Raiders switched out, Max, like 4 different combinations in the offensive line in one game. Just, they kept on taking out Jermaine Illuminator and putting him in for Munford, the rookie from Ohio State. We're doing all kinds of shit, dude. Khalil Mack was wrecking the game. Shout out to the Chargers. They got the dub. It was a great win for them, but I'm looking forward to seeing what the Raiders have, because obviously right now, if I had to go off the positives, I really like the defense. I think it was just a Justin Herbert thing that was going on. Nate Hobbs, shout out to Nate Hobbs. He's elite. I'm looking forward to his second season already. Every time he was targeted, he was making plays on the ball. Every time he was in the run game, making plays in the backfield, doing his Nate Hobbs thing. Shout out to him. I like what the defense. It's really the offense. Carr, what the fuck? It was a what the fuck Carr game. It happens. But Raiders 0-1, Chargers 1-0. Where do you want to go to next, Max? What's a game that interests you?
You want to stay in the division and talk about the Kansas City Chiefs just
Sheesh.
drumming of the Cardinals?
Yeah.
How long before you knew this game was over? It was 44-21, and that might not be indicative of how close this game, how much of a blowout this game was. It would probably be a better statement.
It was pretty bad. Look, I was completely wrong on this game on a side note. It went the other way. I thought the Cardinals were going to blow them out. It's not because I thought that the Chiefs were going to be bad. Even in our preview for the AFC West, I have receipts. Like, I picked the Chiefs winning the division. I don't think they were going to like lose a step. I just thought it was going to take a little bit of time, like 1 or 2 weeks. That was not the case. They hit the ground running. Mahomes, amazing. 30 for 39, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Travis Kelce led the way with 8 catches for 121 yards, grabbed the touchdown. Kyler Murray, not that good today. 22 for 34, the little munchkin. 193 for 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And Marquise Brown, a whopping 4 receptions for 43 yards, 1 touchdown, which came in garbage time. I can confirm that. What is the show, Max?
I don't know if Kyler watched the film, so I'm glad that's not in. No, I don't know about
did a
that.
new Call of Duty come out? Is it
No,
maybe because 2K just came out?
Oh,
Just
it's
playing 2K?
bad week for Kyler. No, I think the Chiefs kind of are a team on a mission. They heard a lot of the shit that was talked about them, and the new receiving group stepped up. Juju had a
Yeah.
decent game. Sky Moore had to play.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire looking really good.
Looked like he did in LSU. I know he didn't touch the ball that much. They were feeding what's his name, Pacheco,
Yeah, the rookie.
sorry, Pacheco. He was doing good,
Yeah,
and Patrick Mahomes was just doing his
Patrick
thing.
Mahomes.
Travis Kelce did his thing, and the more I think about this Cardinals roster, I mean, there's who are you scared of on the offensive side of things? I'm not really afraid of Marquise Brown. I'm not
Yeah,
afraid
I
of
think
James Conner.
the DeAndre Hopkins suspension is a little bit more, hurting than we probably
And
thought.
then
It's
why?
bad.
Who's rushing the passer for this team?
Yeah,
JJ
JJ
Watt.
Watt,
Yeah, when he comes back, JJ Watt. Like,
Chandler Jones. Oh wait, he plays for the Raiders now. Like they don't have anyone.
I mean, I think Isaiah Simmons had a rough game too, and
Mhm.
I really like him. It's just, I mean, I think the
At
writing's
home
on
too.
at home. I know it's week 1, but I think the problems are going to be there. How are they going to create yards? I mean, they try to get Kyler out there, and the Chiefs were like, "Oh, we got this fool. He's done."
Yeah,
It was just,
it
I
was a
thought it
bad
was an
look.
ass kicking. Yeah.
It was a bad look because usually, the Cardinals start off really, really hot in the early weeks of the season.
Shout out to Justin Reed kicking the F out that
Shout out.
ball.
Yeah. But the Chiefs look good, man. They look like how we thought they will look in the majority of the season. And a lot of the things are coming around. They have a lot of weapons. This was the Tyreek Hill loss. It's not good. You're not gonna see it on a game-to-game basis. You're gonna see it in little increments of games that they have, like where they're dead in the water and maybe they don't have so much of the 13 seconds fucking explosion,
Or the play
like
before
miracle
that,
plays.
where he just catches it and
Right,
goes for, that's what I'm saying. The margin for error for them, they have to be a little bit more consistent and not just
right.
rely on that. But I mean, Mecole Hardman didn't have a huge game. They were just kind
Mhm.
of just killing these fools it was like that. It was like a dissection. It was like cut death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah,
And Arizona needs to kind of right the ship because I feel like they're on rocky waters already because this
yeah,
division's pretty good. The- And I know I know every team lost basically.
yeah,
Every team's gonna lose probably. But
yeah.
if the 49ers and Rams get it kind of figure their stuff out, I feel like the Cardinals are in a distant third place.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting week too because the Raiders play the Cardinals next week. So that's gonna be an interesting game for
Teams
both
in
teams.
desperate need of a win.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be a good game next week. Let's go ahead and move on to one of the best games that we witnessed. The Steelers and the Bengals.
Oh my
What a fucking
lord.
game, dude. We can do a whole episode on just this one game. It was absolutely nuts. Uh Steelers get away with the win 23-20 in overtime. The start of this game was absolutely insane. We'll go over it right now. Let's go ahead and show the audience some of the key stats for this one. Trubisky, the risk it for the Trubisky era has begun. He went 21 for 38, 194, one touchdown. Joe Burrow, 33 for 53, 338 passing yards, two touchdowns, four interceptions, and a pick six.
And the fumble loss too, we should
And a
add.
fumble loss. Jamar Chase, 10 catches, 129, one touchdown. Should have had two. Should have low key had three, honestly.
Mhm.
And TJ Watt, who got hurt in this game, along with Najee Harris, both looking questionable for next week for sure. But he had a sack and more pressures,
Well,
most likely.
can I give an update on TJ Watt unless you've heard
Yes.
about it? They think it's a torn pec. That's 3
Shit.
to 4 months. I don't think
Yeah.
they can sustain that injury because I know I wrote one sack. He had a pick I forgot to put in there. He had another sack that was called back. He was wreaking havoc. And we talked about the Bengals' new look O line. Are they cursed?
Look,
Because
I think
Joe
it's going to
Burrow
take some time.
got smacked around, 7
Yeah.
sacks, not even just about sacks, he was getting hit constantly. In week 1, we get it, but just you really don't want it to look like that. And I know it's Pittsburgh and they have some crazy stuff. Maybe not the team you want to play week 1. And we didn't talk about how this will warm Juan's heart because he has a special place in his heart for injured long snappers. They lost the game
Yeah.
because they didn't have a long snapper. They lost this game
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah. And this just tells me like why do we fucking question Mike Tomlin?
I
It's
don't
like
know. I don't know.
It pisses me off when I actually see the game and I see them playing.
You know what?
I'm like,
You know why it pisses us we question him? Because they pretty much should have lost this
yeah,
game. They had
yeah,
5 turnovers, the Bengals, and still pretty much beat the Steelers. They just
yeah,
I mean, even the last play, Jamar Chase, 2 catches that should have been touchdowns that he didn't get his feet in on one. And then they play off coverage and just let him do a little quick out, and I was like,
yeah.
what are you guys doing? It's
But you
Jamar
know what?
Chase."
Yeah, there were so many just dumb decisions, low key on both sides. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, the Bengals could have ran out more clock
Yeah,
when they
3rd and
punted it.
8. Or no, even
Yeah,
on 3rd and 8, they just went for the field goal, and it was like, "Just take a shot. Why not?"
yeah, yeah.
And you know
And
what?
then,
They thought they might have got blocked, which I get because it got blocked.
mhm,
Extra point got blocked. It was
yeah.
insane. Insanity.
Mhm. Yeah, it was crazy. And this game started off fucking crazy. Like, it started off with a Joe Burrow pick six. And I was telling my brother, I was like, don't be surprised. Like, the Bengals are gonna come back. They have too much firepower. They're gonna climb back in this game. And it happened without T. Higgins. T. Higgins got fucking laid out in this game. So
Yeah,
who knows how
concussed.
he's out for. Um the Bengals look shaky though. I'm not worried about them as far as the whole season. I think what more of it is that a team can look so good on paper, Max. You know, the Raiders look good on paper. The Cardinals somewhat look good on paper. You know, all these teams, the Cowboys. But when you have new people like the Bengals do in a revamped O line, it takes time. You got to go through situations and just scenarios that you get on the same page with guys. Like, you're not just going to be able to throw out whoever out there. It's not Madden. You're not playing
Well,
on the chalkboard.
especially with the lack of preseason play for the starters too.
Yeah.
It doesn't help.
Yeah. Exactly. So I'm not too worried about the Bengals. It was a bad luck today for the offensive line. It just looks like
Yeah.
they're it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time, and hopefully T Higgins is not out for long and they get back going up to speed. But Jamar Chase, dude, looks amazing. Him and Justin Jefferson, it's just like,
That's a good segue to talk about Justin Jefferson destroying the Green Bay Packers by himself. And
jeez.
so for those of you who didn't watch this game, 23-7, it was not even that close. It was really like a 40-3 game.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, give you the stats. Aaron Rodgers, 22 for 34, 195 yards, 0 TDs, 1 pick. Kirk Cousins looked amazing, 23-32, 277 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Aaron Jones, 5 carries for 49 yards. Justin Jefferson, 9 catches for 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. There was a play in the first quarter where Christian Watson just took the top off the defense. And this is Juan's boy. Aaron Rodgers threw a dime to him. He dropped it, and Aaron Rodgers gave him the stare of death.
Like
And
the Kobe stare.
it kind of took some wind out of the sails because that would have changed a big part of that game. I feel like it's not the only reason they lost. Minnesota was out hitting them, outplayed them. Week 1 Packers shit. I should never have trusted them. Good shout out to Juan for calling this game. He
No.
told me take the Vikings. They're going to win. I said no, Packers. I trust the defense. Defenses are a big theme of the week that the defenses need some time to get together. And new look offense, it looked great. Justin Jefferson, oh my gosh. How are these two guys, Jamar and Justin, on the same team in college?
How are they on the same team for fantasy too? Shout out to our fantasy league. Some
Are they
fucking
really?
assholes. Yeah, my coworker Chris snagged both of them in the first round. He was the last pick, and I'm like, hey, how the hell did we let him get Jamar Chase and
Hey,
Justin
dog, I
Jefferson?
took Herbert like a grown man should. All
Like a
right.
fucking stupid grown man.
I don't play fantasy.
You love yourself some fucking Jay Herbo,
I'm
but shout
drinking
out to
that.
Chris who's beating my ass in fantasy. Get
Oof.
my team got their ass whooped, and I'm getting my ass whooped in fantasy because of Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, who are fucking phenomenal, man. It just gives me more confidence of what I thought in the Vikings this year. They're gonna have a great year, and Jamar Chase is gonna have a Cooper Cup type season. I'm telling you, the way that their offense is ran. Kirk Cousins, people want to talk shit on Kirk Cousins. In postseason, okay, you got me. Show me, and until you show me, I'll believe you in postseason. But in the regular season, he is capable of doing some things. Like, what's the difference between Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins? So many
Kirk
people
Cousins
want to
won a
give that.
playoff game.
Yeah,
That's the
and
difference.
Dak and
Dak
everyone
hasn't.
wants to crown Dak. Like everything that Dak can do, Kirk Cousins can do, if
Absolutely.
not better. And he's capable of leading a high powered offense. And that's what they look like. I love their defense. Eric Kendricks looks fucking really good this year. Zadarius Smith fucking knocking Rodgers on his ass. I love to see it.
Rodgers took some licks today. And you know what?
Yeah.
This is the perfect week 1 game where last year we were like, what the fuck happened to the Packers? Let's not even really get into it because they got trounced way worse last year, 38-0, I
Yeah.
think. So let's
Mhm.
just pump the brakes on the Packers. The
I
only
was kind of
problem,
shocked on Rodgers' reactions though.
yeah, he looked like
You
he
know?
was like, I'm fucking done with this shit. Like he was like,
Yeah.
why did I sign the extension? But I was gonna say the only thing to really watch is just the wide receiver play. That was really telling. But
Yeah.
it's week 1. Rodgers didn't play that much in the preseason. Let's just pump the brakes. You know, this
I
is a
want to
pump the brakes
say
game.
I just want to say this: a divorce is never good. So Devontae Adams, 140 yards. The whole Packers wide receiving core today, 108, I think, 108 yards, something
Hey,
like that. 0
last year against the
touchdowns.
Saints didn't matter. Devontae was there. That's all I'm going to say. So let's pump the brakes. Let's see. Christian Watson, all he has to do is catch the ball, have an 85-yard touchdown. Okay. That's your boy.
Shout out to wannabe Tay. I was screaming at the screen when the game was going on. My brother was laughing, but Sammy Watkins from a side point view looks like Devontae Adams. I was saying, like, if there was a casual Packer fans, I was watching this and like didn't know what happened during the offseason, and he's like, "Let's go, come on, Devontae Adams," and it's like, "No, dude, that's Sammy Watkins."
Yeah.
Like, not the same. That's
Yeah.
fake Tay. Now, for
Yeah.
now
Fake
on,
Tay.
when I see Sammy Watkins, I call him fake Tay. You're not the real Tay. You're an imposter. But let's
He
go
is
ahead
an
and move on.
imposter. That's a good one. So, do you want to rapid fire some games? Because we
Sure,
have a lot of games.
let's go ahead and hit
Let's hit the
the
Ravens and the Jets because that'll be a quick one
yeah,
off. The
let's do it.
Ravens, Lamar looked pretty good. It's kind of like the same old Jets. I know Zach Wilson's not there, but they kind of just got pushed around all day. And, you know, Lamar, 17 for 30, 213 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He didn't really run the ball, one to me.
Yeah.
And then Flacco, 37 for 59, recipe for disaster, 370 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Bateman had 2 catches for 59 yards, a touchdown, and Garrett Wilson, 4 for 52. This game was over pretty quick. I know the Ravens really aren't capable of scoring that many points right now, but I think the Jets just need their quarterback back, and then we can really evaluate this team because Flacco can't get it done.
Yeah. Were you shocked? Do you believe in those reports about Lamar Jackson, how he turned down that money?
Yeah, 100% I believe that.
You really think
I
so?
think he's kind of crazy. I believe that. Yeah, I think he thinks he's worth a lot more because he wants what Deshaun got. And how do you tell a guy who's won an MVP you're not worth it?
Very true.
Yeah.
He's definitely showing it. Hopefully it continues because he's on my fantasy team also.
All right,
Let's
let's
go
get
ahead
to
and
this game. I want to hit it so bad. Colts. Oh, okay. Let's go.
what?
Falcons, Saints, and Falcons. That's not what I want to talk about, but we'll do it. There were so many crazy like one possession games this week. It like you have to talk
Yeah.
about them. It sucks, but let's hit the stats real quick. Marcus Mariota, 20 for 33, 215 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. Jameis Winston coming off his ACL surgery, 23 for 34, 269 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jarvis Landry won. Huge day for him. 7 catches, 114 yards, 0 touchdowns.
Big catches in the game too.
Drake
Man.
London, 5 for 74. Looked pretty freaking good. And we can't forget about our boy. We didn't put him up there. Can't guard Mike was back. 5 for 57 with 2 big touchdowns. He looked pretty good.
Yeah.
The Saints should have lost this game. Atlanta collapsed at the end. C/P went crazy one. I love seeing that. Saints had that gutsy win, man. Really gutsy win.
Shout out to Dennis Allen. Shout out to the Saints. It was looking bleak right there for a moment, but I love the resiliency from the Saints. Their defense like gave up a couple of stats that they haven't had in like 2 years. You know, that's like a shock to your coach who was the defensive coordinator who has been dominating, and he put his ego aside and he just kept on trucking along, and he could have fell apart, I was very impressed with Dennis Allen. I thought he was gonna blow it. It was looking bad, but shout out to the Saints, dude. Let's see what they can do. The Falcons, on the other hand, it still questions me on why they do not involve Kyle Pitts more into their offense. It fucking pains me as a fantasy owner. It pains me as a football fan, and it would pain me as a fucking Falcons fan. You have this generational type body on your hands, and you just do not force feed him the ball. Force feed him the ball, bro.
Just throw it
Like,
up to him. Throw it up to him. I don't
thank
care if
you.
Marshawn Lattimore.
Yes.
I was saying if Drake London is on Marshawn Lattimore, I feel like Drake London's got the advantage. He's so big. Same thing with Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts. He's bigger than that. For a Falcons fan, I'll say this: you're a way less talented team. You had a chance to win this game. You kind of collapsed. Dude, they're not a really talented roster one, but they play hard. They play really freaking well. Arthur Brown, I think he's doing a good job there, man. I think he's
Yeah.
doing a pretty damn good job.
Yeah. Falcons fans, just keep on winning. You need a quarterback. That's part of it too.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and hit the game that you wanted to, Max. The
It
weird
was the
one, the tie.
stupid fucking tie. Come on, Colts. I know Darius Leonard, Shaq Leonard didn't play today, but you can't tie this game. Matt Ryan, 32 for 50, 352 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Davis Mills, 23 for 37, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, 31 carries for 161 yards and 1 touchdown. I don't know what else he can do, Juan. Brandon Cook,
Yeah.
7 for 82. They just shot themselves in the fucking foot, the Colts. Hot Rod missed a kick at the end to win the game. But this is big. I know no one, like, it's a tie, so it's kind of better than a loss. But you could have easily been 1-0. You choked this game away, and Carson Wentz had a really good showing, I would say.
Yeah. I was very impressed with Jahan Dotson. He
Oh,
looked
yeah.
really good. But the whole Matt Ryan thing, it
And he
it
didn't
didn't
look
look that
bad. He didn't
it
look
didn't look
bad,
good though.
but it didn't look like Carson Wentz looked on Washington. That's all I'll say. And I know Wentz, we'll talk about that game right after this because it ties into that. But Matt Ryan's stats look better than what the product was out there. I'll put it
Yeah.
like that. And the Colts kind of got a miracle comeback in a way because they kind of forced a fumble, kind of put some stuff together at the end. Houston was in control of this game for 3/4 of it.
I want to give a shout out to Brandon Cooks real quick. Just a guy who's been under the radar every year, just consistent as fuck. He gets 1,000 yards almost every year.
Like, if
Almost,
you're a wide receiving team, why don't you if you're a team that needs one, if you're the Packers, like, just go get him. Why
yeah.
wouldn't you, right?
Like, he's the perfect stopgap receiver, I feel like. And I love what I see from Davis Mills. I really did. The one who disappointed me was Damian Pierce. A rookie who I thought that was gonna have a bigger game, but not that much yards and not that many carries, honestly. But I like what I seen from the Texans. I love the resiliency. Did not like what I seen from the Colts. I really thought they should have handled them easily. They get away with a tie. I guess that's good. I feel like it's good because it's better than a loss.
Yeah,
Point
but
blank.
at the end of the day, if the Colts are the better team, you should win against the Texans.
Exactly. Yeah.
Stingley
They'll
looks
probably
good if you're a Texans fan.
yeah,
That's really it.
exactly. Let's go ahead and hit you said the Washington
Yeah,
game?
let's tie that in. So, me and Juan picked the Jaguars. They lost 22-28. Carson Wentz had a really good day. 27 for 41, 313 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Trevor Lawrence had 24 for 42, 275, a touchdown, and a really egregious pick at the end. Christian Kirk, 6 catches for 117 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jahan Dotson, 3 receptions, 40 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they were crazy touchdowns, Juan. They were amazing catches. Carson Wentz, man, so he threw a pick on the screen pass, and it was just an amazing play by Trayvon Walker. So I'm not really mad at that. And then
He
the other
looked
pick he
great.
had,
He had a sack too.
yeah, and I think the Commanders, and I know it's early, and I know we saw with the Wentz last year, and he made big time plays. He made big throws and big moments. That was something they needed.
This is the part. This is the problem with Carson Wentz though. Is you'll have a game like this, like on Christmas last year against the Cardinals, look great, and then he'll have a stinker the next week. I don't believe it. I
You
really
can't.
like what
You can't.
Exactly. And I love what I seen from Jahad Dotson.
Yeah.
Their defense showed a little bit more than I expected without a Chase Youngless team. But shout out to the Commandees, bro. They came out, they won. They beat a Jacksonville team who's very talented, but still wet behind the ears.
That
And
show today from Travis
yeah,
Etienne
they're
dropping a
super young.
touchdown pass and
Yeah, a
fumbling
lot of
to Trevor
drops,
Lawrence making
yeah,
a dumb play.
penalties, overthrows, not on the same page, just stuff that you see from young teams that simply do not know how to win. And it was foolish. I'm gonna say myself, it's foolish for me to think that the Jacksonville Jaguars would have won that game. Like I said, I I tend to go off talent a little bit too much on paper, but once you get out there and you play the game, it's a different story, man. And shout out to the Commanders. They won. They had the more experienced quarterback. Seemed like they had the more experienced roster. We tend to forget a lot of majority of that roster hung in there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2 years ago in the playoff game. So shout out to Washington, man.
I think Washington looked better than both of us thought because we both went with the Jags. And if they can clean up those two Wentz mistakes, they
Yeah.
definitely would have had that game under a lot more control. That kind of let them back in the game. But he made big time plays. So let's see what's up with Wentz. He's
Yeah,
mercurial, so we'll probably have a stinker next week. But let's see.
exactly.
First, good initial stuff.
Let's go ahead and move on to the New England Patriots. They take a L today in Miami, Florida. Patriots 7, Dolphins 20. This was it was not a good game for a Pats
Uh,
fan. Tua 23 for 33, 270, a touchdown, 0 interceptions. Mac and cheese, Mac Jones. Not a good day. 21 for 30, 213, one touchdown, one interception, and a strip sack that was caused on him for a touchdown. Tyreek Hill, 8 receptions, 94 yards, no touchdown. Jacoby Myers, 4 receptions for 55 yards, who had a crazy catch on the sidelines. But what I seen, Max, I seen a team that did not look well coached. Their offense looks putrid.
no
Um,
explosion one. There's no
none,
one who get. It's really hard to play quarterback. But Mac Jones is trying to have to do it where there's no explosive players on the field, really. Who's going to scare you? Who like I know
yeah,
Nelson Aguilar had a couple good plays, but think about the opposite side of it. Tua. They have freaking Tyreek Hill and
Jalen,
Jalen Waddle, and Jalen
yeah,
Waddle had an amazing catch and run today.
on
And
fourth down.
on fourth
Yeah,
down, that was a huge touchdown. And like the Pats, this is what you say if you're a Pats fan. Our defense only gave up 14 points, 13 points. Our offense just needs to be a little better. Miami's a good team. Yeah, that's the good part of it. But Mac Jones's back's messed up. The run game really wasn't there today, like we've been seeing. The whole line's a little shaky. They got rid of Shaq Mason. Trent Brown's your left tackle. His best
yeah,
days are behind him.
yeah,
And this is the last thing I'll say. One, I know Tua has the win. He threw a couple passes today, and I was like, "You're fucking crazy if you throw those again." He threw he threw like a 10-yard jump ball that the cornerback
to
saw,
Tyreek.
and
Yeah,
Tyreek just made a play on it. And I was like, "That's a horrible throw."
yeah,
I don't care
but
that that pass was
it's
completed. I don't care that Tua can throw that bullshit. Any quarterback can do something stupid and get away with it. That was
yeah,
stupid. Clean it
that
up.
was stupid. Not no means it was a perfect game by Tua, but it's the Jimmy G syndrome. It looks like a Jimmy G type game because there's plays where on fourth down, I think it was like fourth down and 3. It was a huge play in the game. They were probably like at midfield. A simple slant catch by Jalen Waddle breaks 2 tackles, gone to the house, just like that. And that's the way their offense is built. And that's kind of the way San Francisco was built with Jimmy Garoppolo.
We'll
It
get
was
that
guys
yak.
making exactly, it was guys making plays for him consistently, whether it was Debo or Kittle, and having a run game. And it looks like Mike McDaniels has took that to South Florida. Like they're the fucking Niners of South Beach. That's what it looks like. And
And
Tua is going to have success. He's going to have wins, like I said. But as far as a pure quarterback standpoint in a vacuum, you're totally right, Max. He's not good. And when it comes down to him trying to make a play, which it comes down in playoff time and in big games in the regular season, when your quarterback has to make throws, it's going to show. It's going to show sooner or later. But a Patriots is obviously a team that cannot capitalize on a guy being like Tua. Like,
yeah, I mean they kind of won, and he was kind of making some really dangerous stuff that could have let them
right.
into the
You
game.
got
So
to
that's
make
the
him
best
pay.
way. Yeah. Definitely
Exactly.
do. So we have 3 games left by my count. Eagles and Lions, Browns and Panthers, Giants and Titans.
Let's go ahead and hit Browns and Panthers. That was an interesting one. Browns win 26-24 off a game-winning field goal, another nail biter. Baker, 16 for 27, 235, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jacoby Brissett, 18 for 34, 147 for 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. And Anderson, 5 receptions, 102 yards for a touchdown. And Nick Chubb, 22 carries for 141 yards. I know Kareem Hunt had a pretty good day. He had 2 touchdowns. But you kind of called it on this one. You said it was going to be sluggish. It was an offensive struggle to begin the game. Both defenses were coming out to play. But I think it just shows why Baker is Baker. Like, he didn't make enough plays to win this game.
Well,
That's what it came down to.
I disagree. One, he put them in a position to
think so?
win. He put them in a position. He got them up
And
by a field goal, and the
field
defense
goal.
kind of shit the bed. I'm kind of disappointed in the Panthers defense. One, they gave up 150. They gave up 200 rushing yards today. 141 of them to Nick Chubb. That's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett, they had an egregious penalty that gave them a touchdown, basically.
Mhm.
Baker's not perfect. He did enough for them to be in a position to win. I really wanted Baker to win because he was fired up. He was out there competing the whole day. It just doesn't look like this Panthers team. There might be something up with the coaching because it looked bad at times, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And for the Browns, huge win. You need to somehow be 5-6 or 6-5 or 7-4 when Deshaun comes back because Jacoby Brissett did not look that great today.
Like I said in the pick'ems, I thought this was a must-win game for the Browns. They got it. Guess who they play next week? The New York Jets. They can easily be 2-0, and that's a great start. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's hit the Giants game. Giants 21 and the Tennessee Titans 20. The Giants come out with the dub. Shout out to the gritty Giants, man. The way that they played today, making me like the Giants a little bit more. Tannehill 20 for 33, 266 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Daniel Jones 17 for 21, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Smoke Henry, aka Derrick Henry, 21 carries, 82 yards. And Saquon with a huge day, running his ass off, 18 carries for 164 yards and a touchdown. Max, thoughts on the game?
Big nut Brian Daboll. They were down 19-20. He went for 2. It paid off big. Tennessee should have won this game. They missed a field goal at the end. Reggie Bullock's usually pretty good at making those type of kicks. For the Giants, Daniel Jones, you're going to say he played better. Well, the protection's still a work in progress, kind of like the Bengals. You need to let that O-line gel together. The pass catchers aren't that great, but man, Saquon Barkley, we've been very critical. I called him a bust, and he might very well still be one, but it's never been a question of talent. It's just a question of position and availability. If he stays healthy, the Giants can go as pretty much as far as he can take them.
Yeah.
Titans disappointing. Very disappointing.
Very, very. And we're kind of counting on a down year. This is not a good look at home. And the Giants came out, and it, in my opinion, shouldn't have been close. But shout out to the Giants for getting the dub. I love what I seen from Saquon Barkley. I hope they keep on continuing to look like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's go to your Eagles. The
Oh, yeah, baby. 38-35. There was no defense played this game except for 1 pick six. Shout out to Jared Goff.
At one point, you guys were blowing them out.
Oh, we were. You know how the Eagles like to do. You know how the Lions like to do. They had to get down by 2 touchdowns and go ahead. Jared Goff, 21 for 37, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick six. And it was a stupid throw. Really, it was week 1. You're not really on the same page. Jalen Hurts, 18 for 32, 243 yards. The story wasn't his arm. It was the Eagles running game. He had 17 carries for 93 yards, doing his best Lamar Jackson. Kenneth Gainwell had a touchdown. Miles Sanders had a touchdown. Boston Scott had a touchdown. 4 rushing touchdowns for my Eagles. And A.J. Brown, 10 carries for 155 yards. He didn't get a touchdown. Devontae Smith didn't get a catch. It's okay. But DeAndre Swift had a hell of a day. 15 carries for 144 yards and a touchdown. After one drive, I was like, holy shit. they're going to run the ball down our throats. And our run defense kind of shorted up after that. I know people are going to say, you gave up 181 yards. Well, 80 of them were in the first fucking drive. Everything else was good for the Eagles. So I'm proud. I'm sorry, Detroit fans. Your team is getting there. It's building in the right way. The quarterback's the crutch of this team. It's always going to be. Jared Goff was really freaking bad today.
You said it right, man. To me, it just looked like they were quarterback away. Their defense didn't look good. Like I would say that their defense got pushed around and led up some really big plays. But I think the aftermath of it, it's the quarterback. Jared Goff did not look good at all. He had a good training camp, but it did not show in week 1. And it just goes to show you that they're rolling with him this year, but they're going to be in the
Detroit
making for
is honestly an attractive place for a team if you're a quarterback. That's all I'm going to say. The O-line's there. The pass catchers are getting there, especially if Jameson Williams' defense has some pieces to it. They were very sloppy. They were getting a lot of unnecessary roughness. I think that was kind of a key. The defensive guys were all kind of flying all over the place. A lot of unnecessary roughnesses throughout. There was 3 in the 49ers game. There was a couple in the Eagles game. It was just littered with it. It was littered with bad. They're kind of playing too hard, and it's going to be expected. It's the first week of the season. You're a little extra amped.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to the Eagles, man. You guys look really good. It confirms everything that I thought about the Eagles.
Worth it. AJ Brown, worth it.
Worth it. He's a grown-ass man. And I love what I seen from Hurts. And he's going to continue to prove you wrong, Max.
Fuck you. Carson Wentz looking good. I don't care.
No, he looked improved.
He did.
He looked like he I really like what I seen.
He took some licks. You know what I mean? He
looked like he got bigger. Honestly,
it
looks like he got a little bigger. But shout out to the Eagles. Lions.
Sorry.
Keep on trucking. Yeah, keep on trucking, man. I don't think this year is going to be the year. But keep on trucking.
They're not a shit show. They're not a shit show.
No,
that's the key. That's the key.
They're still going to be a tough out. But all this talk about being a sneaky playoff team, I don't think it's going to happen.
They definitely weren't the TeaBag team of the week. I think that's a good way to say it.
That's a great way to say it. And let's go ahead and move on to our last segment of the video. If you guys stayed this long, we appreciate it. We thank you guys. Go ahead and subscribe if you guys haven't subscribed. TeaBag team of the week. We're bringing this back from last year. We both each pick a team. Sometimes it's the same team. Sometimes it's a person. Sometimes, special occasions like that. This week, we did pick teams. I went the Dallas Cowboys route. Max went with the Green Bay Packer route. My reasoning for the TeaBag team of the week for the Dallas Cowboys: you lose out on your quarterback. You look like shit when your quarterback was in there. Your offensive line is decimated. You have no playmakers. You refuse to play the best players on the field when it comes to running back, and you overpay running backs. Tony Pollard is the best running back in Dallas. No one could tell me different. If you don't think that, I don't know what football game you are watching. Dallas Cowboys, TeaBag team of the week for me.
Green Bay Packers, they got blown out. Another week 1, another debacle. Christian Watson was the TeaBag of the Packers for dropping that touchdown, essentially. Packers receivers need to step it up. Aaron Rodgers looked disinterested and kind of just like checked out. They're not going to be a TeaBag team, I don't think, for many more weeks, but this week they definitely were a TeaBag team of the week.
Yeah, well said, man. This one could have easily gone to a couple teams because I was thinking about the Cardinals.
I think the Cowboys were the TeaBaggest of them all.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's done it, man. Week 1 in the books. Week 1 recap show in the books, man. We appreciate everyone that has stayed with us this far. We appreciate all the love and support. Go ahead and comment down below any thoughts, opinions that you guys have about week 1. Are we tripping? Are we right on the money? Whatever. Go ahead, comment down whatever. We don't mind. Anyone that's new to the channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Like I said earlier, all our subscribers out there who are already subscribed, hit the like button, bro. If you guys have gone this long in the video, you obviously like us. So go ahead and hit the like button. It's easy.
We're close to 500.
We're close to 500, man. Audio listeners, shout out to Spotify and Apple Podcast listeners. We appreciate you guys too. Make sure to 5-star rate us on that. It also helps us out. I think that's going to do it. Max, any last words?
Max, he's one. We're out.
We out. Peace.